Okay, so we saw this particular issue coming, and we've been talking about this for the past few months. Donald Trump is not really going to mess up with African presidents again. In a way, he believes Africa no a continent where the leaders from the pocket it instead of giving it to the people, we the citizens, we the people are voting more. Almost say besom ye no yen mum nya dane nkwa and ye so masse. Now, reports say the United States of America however kind of confirmed a patch say US President Donald Trump he's banned Ghana and Ghana's president from accessing loans and critical aids. Now, Obeka said, we've been giving you back-to-back updates some time ago. Said Trump, when Trump came to power, Trump's assertion was that Ghana and many West African countries, together with many African countries, the US have been helping us so long. Now, some of the Sika Omedema aid, loans, and grants from Omedema, the whole deal is for us to pay it. Intimate market say a low interest loans, and I said no interest loan. The word is no interest loans and low interest loans. So these are the two things. But unfortunately, Sika US for their wire at DBA Bano, we've not even been able to pay them back. Talk alone of the interest. Meanwhile, each and every day we are going and we are taking more money. I don't know. Some few months ago, a coup d'etat blackwa on a year one Donald Trump appointee. Or mudi see any Twitter. A coup d'etat saying America for a slave trade, no, Africa they took all the gold and other things away, so he has no right to say that. Ultimately, could you tell black wire then it deletes that particular post, no. But what we are seeing today is the ripple effect of that particular thing, because what we are learning now is that the US have blocked your friend is a foreign aid to Ghana. Let us put this on the screen. Senator say whatever we are saying, you know, we know exactly what we are talking about. Until we share the whole screen, so ever has say this is definitely coming from a year TV3. So in here, no, you could see, say, say, US blocks foreign aid to Ghana over unresolved debts ahead of 2026 fiscal year. Intuition dates na a year December 3rd. Just 48 hours ago, and as I report we buy why the United States of America is saying say Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama cannot step in Washington DC and go to the White House say Muma Miska. Why? Because from time immemorial, from Clinton Abreso in 1992, Bessie 2000, from George Bush Abreso from 2001, Bepim 2008, from Barack Obama Abreso from 2009, Bepim 2016, from Trump Abreso the first time 2016 to 2020, Joe Biden 2020 to 2024, Trump again 2024 and go, you know, all these successive times the USA have been giving us loans. Loan said the hospital, but then we don't even do anything with the money, let alone of even paying back the interest. You read the way or say the United States government has barred Ghana from accessing foreign assistance, including developmental loans and flagship support programs such as the Millennium Challenge Corporation (MCC), following the country's failure to meet key debt obligations owed to American entities. So in here, and you are being told, say, the United States of America is taking this particular proactive step, barring Ghana from accessing key loans, which will help the country, the economy, and also its people. And that particular firm, no, a Millennium Challenge Corporation (MCC). But more purchase sika ya jeno, ayaje, ayiguso jeno. Yentimi tuya sika, yentimi tuya se sika no. The principal, let alone the interest. And worst of all, Donald Trump government believe he say ye just kana ye penny phone etna so on one of the top properties ever broche, they enrich themselves, they don't use the money to do anything. So Mahama tini baby no Akufo-Addo their mess no, and then it affected his government. He came into power and all of a sudden he is the person who is facing this particular blame. Or say the restrictions are expected to take effect in the 2026 financial year. So this particular year report here, AB, they are telling us in the year 2026 from next year. Let us even say this because this year US one my skibia. Sika nom so be my for accepting deportees and a parliament so monje. because Lesotho jump the 2.5 million and 2.5 million despite credit mama Ghana for says card. Inti this year yes Ghana next year adwene say tensions will come down between Ghana and Washington to our dream because we are not getting any money and a dime from the Trump administration. Osanso to also say, according to an economic intelligence report, the decision is based on the debt default restriction under section 712 of the fiscal year 2025 State Foreign Operations and Related Programs Appropriations Act SFOAA. Into what we are learning is that Trump administration by Nomaka said no, there are some countries who are defaulting. Countries be why they are always defaulting on their loans. They come and take loans. They are not paying, so we can't continue to pay them, even if they are not even making any. A friend is saying any move to pay an artist shows say they want to pay, and yes, so they keep coming back. Into Trump administration, say no. Bibi our U.S. foreign aid policy nim. What must say? Remember, Trump buy was we U.S. aid nephew, the United States aid on cancel if you and as asika na omode ma ama ho do foreign aid no. Say sa particular a year never horror. And also amend the constitution and also amend certain laws. Into no part is countries that defaulted on sovereign debts owed to or guaranteed by U.S. person or certain official creditors unless a restructuring agreement has been completed. Into ushe top no yes also cut up now ushe we program now say debt default restriction under section 7012 of the fiscal year 2025 state. It's our program no SFOAA, which is the State Foreign Operations and Related Programs Appropriations Act. And no more party says our provision no and as law no an amendment. Let me use that word amendments no. It is going to bar or prohibit U.S. foreign companies and as the United States foreign aid from giving any country, especially Ghana, any loan, aid or grants once we've defaulted. And as a US DJmu amayako G loan if you World Bank if you are not paying, we are not eligible to take any money from US or receive any payment. Two major default events appear to have triggered the applications of the 7012 to Ghana. And TV34 report on what they ban say Nyema mienu siye. Sa nyema mienu ne siye and it trigger the United States of America to say no, let us stop Ghana. Let us ban Ghana and its president from receiving these loans. In I'll see the two major events. So the first relates to Ghana's announcement on December 19th, 2022 that it was suspending payments on most of its external public debts, including Eurobonds, commercial term loans, and the majority of its bilateral obligations. These instruments are widely held by international investors, including U.S. bank, asset managers, and investment funds. So, in some American, I told you, say, Okitra Korini Meko, and upon Cheno Eden, 1853. Mahama has nothing to do with this. Omo patches and Yama Munu and a trigger Sanyama way in 2022 na Sanyama trigger who was in power. The person in power was Akufo-Addo. In 2022, Kaya Ghana led by the then Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Omo the announcement eba say Ghana niema nko ye sika ye to ne niema abafom enunti sika e wosi etua ma amanfo ma invest in our country through Eurobonds. Through external obligations, sky fee, different countries near the day we see certain US banks, Ghana, for scarcity investment, FNC roles near we are into Amoka with interest. No, Ghana and make announcement say we are not going to pay any of that particular money. Into Semna Ghana for Kanye under then Akufo-Addo government led by Ken Ofori-Atta and no and a US for air purchases. See, agreement is agreement. US company Emma Wiska. Say 5 year roles facing hospital now no ye the low interest and no interest aka one mawa o sorry ya o say o country niema nko ye nti wuntu ya na US sa na movie a modem say sumechi abegina Washington DC say mama mi scan na me franco free status mo bobodam Mumbo boda mo yen kwasia for me US said fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. So they are not going to sit down for this thing to happen. So the big question is, what is the second thing which may have triggered this? Also, the second default involves an estimated 251 million in outstanding payments owed to several US companies, including Twin City Energy, American Tower Company, GSM, Sharp, Cosmos Energy, and Zipline. Some of these obligations, such as those involving Twin City Energy and Sharp, are backed by the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, that's DFC, raising concerns in Washington over potential losses to U.S. taxpayers. So the second one is that a country basically operates like a business. Okay, so US, pay loans. We don't only go to the government for money. We go to certain companies. A bit my oil company, a bit my investment company. And Americans, their money and their savings is tied in bonds, in shares, in this omu invest in bonds, in shares, any equity sana. Companies say investments. They can say, okay, Ghana needs a loan of $100 million to do a dual interchange, and I say dual road from Kumasi to Accra. Let us give that $100 million to Ghana, and let us just put 10% interest, which means that Ghana will just $10 million based on the $100 million a year. So US company, they'll give Ghana the money with low interest. Now, in every loan, you need a guarantor. So Ghana acquire country, US government, or more financial institutions. I'll make Maka say, oh, we know Ghana to be a country. They have a solid democracy. They have systems in place. So based on all of these aforementioned, let us stand in, or let us use one of our entities and firms to sit in and answer to be a guarantor in this process. So there are many deals, and some of these companies near Bebre. The Obubo also Twin City Energy, American Tower Company, GSM, Sharp, Cosmos Energy, Zipline. Some of these companies investment on be making controversy in this country, like the Cosmos Energy, like the Zipline, and I see Zipline. All of these issues Iti say your mind says can you not Ghana see into BMA companies on this kind of money on the year and people invested in those companies with their taxpayers' money. If you are buying a kasa to me invest it. Say okay, America for years can you find Ghana. Now Ghana for my is come after the see in tribune. So this was the second part. Watch as a companies are omodi says kanema no omo came ama and then losses eba. Until they can't continue to give us money. And personally, this is not hating on Trump. What Trump is doing makes sense. What Donald Trump is doing makes sense. How can you give loans to someone for the past 40 years and the person is not paying the money, paying the interest, and yes, the person is coming back with the hands at the back saying it's more loans? Come on, you can't give us loans again. And yet possible. Also, the US Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman James Rich, who is a Republican of Idaho, has been a vocal critic of Ghana's arrears, arguing that the country prioritized payment to Chinese creditors while failing to honor commitments to American firms. He has on multiple occasions urged U.S. authorities to use their influence with the IMF to block further funding to Ghana. So, Saba Peya Yekana Semi, Onona earlier this year, Onyo Kujuta Blakwa. A clash here. Akujuta Black saying is Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana independence, and you guys told our good. These were the low and stupid moments from Okujuta Black, because as a foreign minister, your emotions can run high and you can put the country in jeopardy. Epinye, you are angry talking to a Trump appointee. Not Trump appointee, someone now can a legitimate. We are not paying our loans. And one thing as a year papi ekaya and James Ritchie consensus or raising an airport Ghana. We take loans from US, from other not alone. We don't just take loans from US. We take it from other countries, including China. But China, Some of the countries in Europe, you could sa loan, we are even paying. Into a ban send America for one the end into into our party say yes, stop it. We shouldn't give them money. And also IMF, which happens to be the International Monetary Fund, no. Almost IMF kutu. Na IMF Emma America, na IMF Emma Ghana for CKB, they will not fund this again. So these are the two major events I see here. Yentuaso, I said the outstanding payments are linked to government of Ghana or government-controlled entities, particularly the Electricity Company of Ghana. It's Japan say one of companies that they've been enjoying subsidiaries, loans, grants, and aid from AECG. What am I saying? Yensanso entwa su ebiem ewo hasi. Or say analysts describe them as political and legal failures of the state institutions to honor public commitments rather than defaults by private companies. Ghanaian authorities reportedly classified 3 obligations as part of the country's 2.6 billion energy sector legacy debts. Both the MCC, that's the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and the U.S. Department confirmed compliance with Section 7012 on 6 August 2025, signaling that the aid restriction will be fully enforced unless Ghana reaches a restructuring agreement or clears the outstanding debt. Ghana loan need from US. They've passed and they've amended that section 7012, okay, of a year. The Millennium Challenge Corporation, the MCC, no, sa clause on my say country be on my baby school and will block them from even accessing any loans unless of course Ghana sika kufado aji Ghana ya bohoka and nam 2 billion 3 billion 10 billion above we start paying. We sit down and give now US from my timeline say every month we be to your way and now say we clear all the debts and sign on bit mama is from. And personally, this is a big blow to the John Dramani Mahama administration. Now you'll be a say Ghana your public debts no you see a 80 billion, 100 billion. And you say ya GBA for China, ya GBA for US, ya GBA for Dubai. Say scan kit and the public debt. Sika are buying was Emma foreign entities. And now US President Donald Trump is saying his country is not going to give Ghana any money again. So that is exactly what is really going on in terms of all of these issues ahead and air course. So now there are many issues definitely air course, and then we'll do all to make sure say at the end of the day, we give you more updates as to what is happening, what is really going on, and also issues are airborne. You want more updates into all of this particular issue. We know say Global Info Analytics omo the new polls be aba. Now Global Info Analytics omo a company be each and every time be they do polls. Omo ma yehu Ghana your politics no ye koye nimi Ghana for satisfied and also 2028 year ye be koyi Mahama ontimi nkobiem per the constitution. So who is poised to sit in and be the next flag bearer or candidate? And same be brave. Now, me know can say this particular December, Global Info Analytics a year or more head. Your friend Musa Dankwa was saying release a new shocking polls. Our new shocking polls are abanom. One thing you'll be seeing very soon is how Ghana, and also the NDC they need to set up, especially candidates and certain people like Esiedin Kitia any Haruna Idriso. Obeka I said the last time sir, your friend is saying reports, we told you say Haruna Idriso was leading the polls fast track to today, no, a kamya kweye say, Niema enko yisa. But let's read this. Also, the social media edition of the tracking poll shows a dramatic rise for Castle Ato Forced, rising from 13% to a year, 30% in September 2025 to 2028 to 28%. Now, for us to understand this, I think say yenko ni share graph no eyi ewa hasi. Now, osha graph na eye poll sa omu organize anase omu ye chere say okay omu NDC mo person omu ye flag bearers no in last month and in last 2 months September and last month and last 2 months you be saying say who do you want to be the flag bearer no why mo na no mo choose and no na omu chere wa has into share the screens no so you could see what say I think say was say you try say you be share the mark points no good okay I think say mark points in ewa hasi into share say na or say September no ye green and December ye friend say blue it blue into how na edrusu as September no you be say for say who would you want to see as NDC flag bearer going to 2028 election out of 400% ni be so emu 27% in September said they want Harry Nedrisu. Okay. Yati here. And December we no Harry Nedrisu in 28%, which means Harry Nedrisu have jumped by 1%. Yenko seeding kitia. A seeding kitia as of September no emu 23% of 100% NDC voters no or legible your friends the delegates be so mono almost say a seeding kitia no person on your president 23%. And as December we no a seeding kitia we plus 1 point. So a seeding kitia jump plus 1. How you do a jump plus 1. But then the real shocking shocker here is Obifofro. Now, me jumping nipa back because on the news no. Ajiman Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman, our current vice president. As at September no na amount for 11%, not 0% because omuye normal fund the account. But now they move 7%. And I'm say 1% vice president and your flag bearer. That's we Ajiman. And the others Okuduta Blakwa and Opoku. But then I want you to concentrate on the middle one, forcing. As of September 2025, NDC for normal person to force in leading the party. And just 13%. Okay, because the green represents September. Now, as of December 2025, you be so almost like, who do you want to see the party? Who do you want to lead the NDC party? Atuforsen have jumped by double plus 2 tickets. Atuforsen, 28% say they want Atuforsen to be the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. It is here, no, the leaders and the losers in this race is Nipa na we you know. The biggest winner here is Atuforsen because now Atuforsen have tied with Harry Nedrisu. So both of them 28%. Nipa asisia unhu no kra chief of staff. Chief of staff say Julius Debra dey okay. Julius Debra wa hase. Julius Debra no no accept September na for 14%. So one person on your president, on your flag bearer. But December, you know, we lose grounds to 4%, which will lose almost 10%. Did you lose that brand? You can't cry and chill crying about it. Or you chill crying while you pepe. So the big loser here, your friend is saying, Julius Debra, and Adesa Opoku, who was also at 11%, as you see, and 2%. But Nipa will gain the biggest winner here. Number 1, Atuforsen. You see, and he's leading or tied to the leader, Harry Nedrisu. So both of the two winners here, Harry Nedrisu and Atuforsen. And the second person here, also the number is not increasing by a margin. Exceeding Kitia by 1%. The others like Julius Debra lost. Jenano Pukwajima, Onyakakra, Okudotua Blakwa, and also he lost because as at September, no, now a 7%, the person by flag bearer, December, a swati. Okay, and I believe that Jenana Opoku Ajiman ono so oye say ono so elusu. I don't know if that Ajiman omoka na asem no Ajiman no omoka na asem. I don't know if friend say Rollins the banner. I don't know, but then I think it's a writing no and ebema yenya exactly what they are saying here. It's no you read the writing here. We are near to also or say Exceeding Ketia is now in third place. The social media edition of the tracking poll shows a dramatic rise for Atuforsen, rising from 30% to 28%, and now tied to Haruna Idrisu. General Exceeding Ketia now in third place with 24%, and Professor Jinano Pukwajima in fourth place with 7%. However, in a scenario where the Vice President Haruna Idrisu do not contest, Atuforsen leads with 40%. Inti a chese sisi ano se ejena no puku ajeman or se uncontested because the health no enkoye mana nipa only the race Atuforsen with 40%. Johnson is sitting Ketia with 32%. Okay. Mami San taking it. Also, however, in a scenario where the Vice President and Haruna Idrisu do not contest, Atuforsen leads with 40%, or purchase not just the Vice President but also Haruna Idrisu almost someone contest here, which is Atuforsen leading with 40%, followed by Exceeding Ketia with 32%, and Samuel Kudota Blackwa with 10%, and Julius Zebra with 9%, and Professor Joshua Alabi with 6%, and Honorable Eric Opoku and Opoku okay with 3% using committed voters model. So analysis of the data shows that 34% of the combined share of Professor Nana and Haruna Idrisu of 35% went to Atuforsen, while General Exceeding Ketia got 24%. Ablakwa came in third place with 16%, Julius Debra 30%, Joshua Alabi with 9%, and Eric Opoku at 4%. Again, so next week we'll continue the telephone tracking poll. In some omoka no. Now, in some way, question the big question now will be besides say, okay, Abani say, what about the New Patriotic Party omudie? No, any kwasha. Niema enkoye ema Kennedy Japan crack. King Japan, Charlie, things no dey go off for my man. Minim suppose no man yen you say den but niema enkoye ema Kennedy Japan. Anyway, yen ready. Also for the MPP race, according to the social media edition of the poll among MPP voters, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia extends his lead from 56% in September to 75% in December 2025 poll. Kennedy Japan saw a sharp drop from 40% to 18%. Dr. Yao Edichum also recorded a decline from 3% to 1%. And Dr. Brandy Champon rose from 1% to 5%. And Kwabene Japan also from 0% to 1%. The contest now is a two-way contest. You see, and I say, Bawumia versus the rest. Bawumia as September be almost say MPP for say why now person lead party now above 56%. That's almost over half. I see a percent Bawumia lead. But December ye bisa almost 75%, which means say almost was almost 2/3 of the party wants Bawumia to lead them. And in Japan no enjoy 40%. No, Ken Japan a drop it to 18%. And a Professor Yao Edichum or no 3%, so about 1%. And a Dr. Brandy Champon no 1% or no 5%. And a Kwabene Japan no 0% and one so 1%. Now yen share the graph what I see. Or see MPP voters social media poll September to December 2025. In here no you see Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as of September na emu 56%, so voti ama Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But December emu 75%. Ken Japan was enjoying 40% in terms of September. Amount for non per se Ken Japan MBA flag bearer tracking for social media near the other no. But see Ken Japan the momentum number form ama Ken Japan about 18%. Professor Yao Edichum as of September no 3%. Education minister or the FN saying I don't know the bag Ghana FN STEM education no 3%, but December 1% pay. Dr. Brian Edichum no 1% after the only raise about 5%. December September na for 1%, some better man, but September December we need 5%. And also, Kwamni Japan was 0%, say we need 1%. And so this is exactly what is going on. Therefore, you better also with this particular update EBA. It is very important. Say at the end of the day, you be exactly what is going on right here on this particular platform. Now, if you see a near call the World Cup, because me no can say your latest news be if you your World Cup eba as our latest news here be it is a make or break for Ghana. Me say then it is a make or break for Ghana. So dear, you better check it right here on this particular platform. So Minuka say the World Cup is coming on live. Emma Minuka say the World Cup draw and on a basso. Right now we are learning say Ghana's path at the 2026 World Cup draw air basso and updated tournament format so air basso. Now Minuka say o share the whole screens so we are seeing more update air back. HS very soon I just say African countries any one more on be competing everybody is actually waiting. Now enchebiano ye kwa share a bit of reports. This particular report are it is actually giving us a glimpse of what is about to happen, what is yet to happen, and also Ghana. Do we even stand the chance in the first place? These are big issues. Koso. Iti enche biano. Ete se yebeshe. Neche se yebeshe neche se yako insem. But before then, you try a home break here. Ye babaka. Iti for yebetu aso.
Speaker, we are saying that the office of the special prosecutor has abused his powers in this matter. And I will not hesitate. I will not hesitate to say that this house, we created the office. And the office of the special, if we to abrogate it, we may have to abrogate it. Because we cannot create such an office to handle important matters of concern to the state, and you'll be detaining citizens that you have invited willingly, they've submitted themselves willingly, and you detain them because on a certain supposed obstruction of a public officer from performing a certain duty. That is a misdemeanor.
Honorable Chief Whip.
So, Mr. Speaker, let me place this matter on record, that this house, we shall be inviting him to come and brief the house the circumstances under which he will detain a citizen under such whimsical circumstances. It is untenable. And yesterday, his conduct was frowned upon by the entire nation. So I just have to place this matter on record for today. I thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, you came under Order 93, but it was wrong time. We normally invoke Order 93 during statement time. Now you've gone past statement time, we are coming to do government business, and we are bringing this discussion again. Anyway, I'll invite one person from this side, Honorable Kojo Ponkroma, to comment on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would have wished that the Business Committee would have properly programmed this so that it would have been part of the earlier conversations. The subject that the Chief Whip on the majority side has raised is an important matter. But in my view, Mr. Speaker, it is not about the Office of the Special Prosecutor. It is about a culture that has crept into the investigative and law enforcement bodies in this country, where they invite you, and to quote the words of the Chief Whip, you appear on your own volition to assist them in investigations. Then they arrest and detain and put onerous bail conditions on you. In fact, in the case of his good friend, the respected lawyer he's speaking about, his very good friend, he was asked to bring landed property in his own name. These are some of the onerous bail conditions that we have been speaking about, that the investigative bodies are beginning to weaponize. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, like we say in Twi, etua onyonku mua, etua diem, etua uhumu dia, etua nipem. To wait, Mr. Speaker, when it happens to somebody and he's complaining about it, you see absolutely nothing wrong with it. When it happens to you, now you complain. So, Mr. Speaker, if he wants to invite the special prosecutor to come and answer why his friend, and today he's complaining because it is his friend, why his friend and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, in his view, are weaponizing their powers, perhaps he should extend that invitation to all the other investigative bodies that people have raised complaints about, that they are beginning to weaponize the powers of state given them. Today, because it happened to Martin Pebu, you are making it a matter of urgent public interest. The minority leader, Osahin, has been raising this matter over and over again, that the investigative bodies are weaponizing their powers, are imposing onerous bail conditions. In fact, Mr. Speaker, in instances where you don't even expect them to detain, because you've invited a man, he has appeared, he's provided information, you know where to find him. There's no basis to detain him. They will detain you and put onerous bills, whisk you away, unknown destination. Then your lawyers, everybody looking for you. We've had clients at our firm, we are chasing all over.
All right, so once again, a very big welcome to this particular platform. So the World Cup 2026 pot is finally here, and as you can see, the draw and also the match fixtures will be announced very soon. Now, what you see on the screens clearly is the 4 pots which has been drawn. That was way back when this happened, somewhere the 11th June in 2020. Where the match will begin, in 11th June 2026. Now, as you can see, Ghana is in pot 4. As you can see, with Cape Verde, Caracas, Ghana, Haiti, Jordan, New Zealand, and also we are waiting for the FIFA playoff 1-2, and also the EU playoff A to D. So that is Ghana's group. That's the pot 4. Meanwhile, we are getting information, and now we are getting information as to the upcoming draws today, and also the match fixtures, and also where Ghana will likely be placed. Now, we have an extensive report, okay? And this particular report is coming from a sports pundit who broke it down as to what we should be expecting today and where Ghana will be as all of these issues continue to pop up as to our performance. How are we going to fare as we prepare to go for the World Cup? So we will be looking at this particular video very soon, in a moment, as we try to bring all of these things together. All right, guys. Once again, a very big welcome to this particular platform, Pinaxtv. So, as we were saying earlier, the FIFA World Cup is coming on, and currently Ghana's path to the 2026 World Cup. We are learning that the draw details and also updated tournament is on. Now, a total of 42 countries have now secured qualification for this particular historic tournament, which will be hosted across 3 nations: Canada, United States of America, and also Mexico. Now, we are learning that the Black Stars, along with 9 other African countries, have officially been booked or have officially booked their place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, we will be taking a closer look at Ghana's potential together with its other competitors, because currently we are learning that a lot of other countries have qualified or yet to qualify because of the UEFA playoff and also the EU playoff and other stuff. Now, on the screens, you realize that Ghana is in pot 4 together with other countries like Cape Verde, Caracas, Haiti, Jordan, New Zealand, and also we are waiting for other teams who will qualify from the EU playoff and also the FIFA playoff 1 and 2. Now, in terms of the draw and also the ports, we will be watching this particular report is coming from Sport TFM to give us details as to what is happening and even the way forward for Ghana as we prepare to storm the United States of America to officially begin our World Cup dreams.
See a deja vu of FIFA World Cup matches that we've seen already, and let's get the ball rolling, starting with Morocco. They were just brilliant. They are Africa's topmost team at the moment, and at the 2022 World Cup they got to the semi-finals and they were eliminated by France. They could meet France again at the World Cup because France are in pot 1, Morocco are in pot 2. There's also another interesting matchup that could happen for Morocco, and that is the match between themselves and Portugal. They eliminated Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal courtesy and Nesri's goal at the 2022 World Cup that ultimately pushed Portugal out of the competition in the quarterfinals. One interesting game that could have happened is Croatia, but unfortunately they have Croatia in their group and cannot meet them. Let's move on to Egypt. Yes, Egypt to make a return to the World Cup. Unfortunately, they could see just one of the matches that they've played already, and that is against Uruguay, because they've been missing from this particular tournament. Making a return at the biggest stage, they could play a team they are very much familiar with. Senegal, yes, the Lions of Teranga find themselves in pot 2, same as Morocco, and they could see some interesting matchups. They could meet Brazil again, a side that they've met before. They could also meet another former champion, France, a team they beat during the 2002 World Cup in Korea and Japan. One other interesting matchup that Senegal could also face is the Netherlands. Yes, they could meet the Netherlands again, and also Qatar. They could meet them because Qatar find themselves in pot 3. In pot 3, Tunisia find themselves in here. The Carthage Eagles, many love them for how pragmatic they are. They make a return to the world's biggest stage, and they could also be seeing some interesting matchups. First of it is England. They are familiar foes with England. England are in pot 1. They could also be another team in pot 1 that they've met before, and that is Belgium. Tunisia could face France. Yes, a side they know too well. And then Australia could be another matchup that they've seen already. One other interesting game they could have made is against Panama. They've met them before, but unfortunately, they find themselves in the same pot as them. Staying in North Africa, Algeria, the Desert Foxes, haven't been too dominant when it comes to the World Cup, but this could be another World Cup where they could make a claim for themselves on their return. The first matchup that they could see is against Belgium. They could also meet South Korea again, and then they can also meet England. And the same point, the Elephants of La Côte d'Ivoire, the reigning champions of Africa before the draw is made. The Elephants have interesting nations that they faced before that they could face. They could face Argentina again. Yes, a very tough game that they wouldn't want to see. But they could also face Colombia. They could face Japan again. And they could face Brazil also again. All these are games that could come up for that is the Elephants of La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, looking at South Africa, who make a return after hosting in 2010, they haven't made an appearance. And Hugo Bruce will be leading the Bafana to be getting an interesting one. If you remember that wonderful celebration from Sifiwe Shabalala in the opening game at the 2010 World Cup, you remember? Remember that? Yeah. We could be seeing that game again. South Africa against Mexico. They could also be meeting France again. Yes, France is a team they met during the group stages of that particular World Cup. And also in that group in 2010, they could be meeting Uruguay once again. Finally, it's Ghana. Ghana has wonderful history at the World Cup, starting with Brazil. Well, Brazil is a side Ghana lost 3-0 at the 2006 World Cup in the round of 16. Another interesting matchup that could happen for Ghana is against the United States of America, the host. Like I mentioned, any of the African nations could meet USA. One other matchup that could happen for Ghana is against Portugal. Don't forget that Ghana has been meeting Portugal for quite the last 2 times that we've been at the World Cup in 2014. There's also one interesting matchup that could happen, and that is against Australia. Familiar foes for Ghana at the World Cup. Samoa Gyan got, very good laughs over Australia in the 2010 World Cup. And then the most dreaded team Ghana doesn't want to hear of, Uruguay. In 2010, Luis Suarez, hand up in the air, saving that ball on the line. A red card as Samoa Gyan eventually missing the penalty. Terrible. In 2022, Ghana met Uruguay again, and once again, they had a laugh over Ghana. Another penalty missed. It was Andre Ayew who missed that penalty. Uruguay eventually went on to win that game. If that matchup happens, we'll put red on our heads and be ready for the battle. Well, these are some of the interesting matchups that could pop up from the draw that will happen from the 5th of December in the United States.
Yeah, so it's the day of the World Cup draw, the official draw for the FIFA World Cup 2026, taking place at the John F. Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. From a Ghanaian perspective, we are in pot 4, which is the least of all pots. And so the potential that will be drawn against teams like Spain, England, and then that's from pot A, and then teams like South Korea, Japan in pot B, and then some other teams like Norway who are in pot C. So potentially we can have a group with Spain, Norway from pot 3, and then pot 2, Japan or South Korea, or potentially the Americans too want to face Ghana, as I've heard in the social media. So let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting to view the World Cup draw today. And I'm optimistic. I know Ghana will get out of the group stage. Whichever group we find ourselves, we'll be strong enough to get out of the group stage. I'm just hoping that the GFA can actually do their due diligence, call in the right players who are actually committed to the cause of the Black Stars, not players who just want to use the Black Stars as a stepping stone to greater heights in their club career. These are some of the things that have plagued Ghana in years past, where players come and play for the Black Stars just because they want to use it as a stepping stone to further their club career or earn better contracts with their club. So we'll be eagerly anticipating this World Cup draw. So go Black Stars, go. Let me know what groups or what opponents you want to see Ghana face or drawn with for the 2026 World Cup. Have a good day.